Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to take you through the basic steps to start a new case, load it into Autopsy, and select and configure some of the ingest modules. When you first launch Autopsy, you'll be presented with a screen similar to what you're currently seeing now. At the time of this recording, I'm using Autopsy 4.19.1. So you can see when you first launch Autopsy, you're presented with a welcome dialog in which to choose from. You can create a new case, you can open a recent case, or you can open another case that you've worked on or transported from another desktop. So in this instance, we're going to create a new case. So I'll click the new case button. At this point, you need to assign a case name, and I'll call it Lego 2 because I've already done Lego 1 and done the ingest for that. So to demonstrate the process, I don't want to overwrite what I've previously done. And because I'm running this on Linux, my base directory is /media/e_drive. This may be different for you, and you can perhaps choose your documents directory on your C drive if that's a better fit for you. Once you've chosen a name for your case and you've defined a base directory, we're going to click Next. And this is additional information here on this screen where you can include a case number, your details as the examiner, and so on. But as this is for demonstration purposes only and not specifically for a real case, I'm going to leave this blank. So at this point, I'll click Finish. And Autopsy will go away and create the base directory with all the artifacts and directory structure that it needs to go forward. So at this point, we get to an Add Data Source wizard where we have to go through a few steps in which to add a data source. So the first thing is we need to define a host name for the image that the hard drive was taken from. We have a few options here. We can generate a host name, and it's just an arbitrary name. It's for your purposes only. So you can generate a new host name based on the data source name or the name of the image file that you've been presented with, or you can specify a new host name and call it whatever you like, or you can specify an existing host that's been predefined. In this instance, I'll leave it as the default and I'll click on Next. So at this point, we need to select the data source type. The image file that we were given is a disk image. We also have the ability with this option to import a virtual machine. We have a series of other options that I'm not going to cover in this video, but for this demonstration, I'm going to just leave it on the disk image or VM file and click Next. Now this is where you actually select the image file. So we're going to click Browse. We're going to go to e_drive. And I'll select the lego.dd file, which was the virtual image given to you or downloaded from Blackboard. We'll leave the sector size as default, and I've set the time zone to be Australia/Perth. You can change this if your requirements need you to do so. At this point, we can include the MD5 checksums of the overall disk size, but on this instance, I'm going to leave it blank. So click Next and we can go on to the next screen. And this is where we have the opportunity to select what ingest modules we're going to run at this point in time. And it's important to remember what ingest modules that you do run, because you can't run it again. Otherwise, you'll double up on all your artifacts. So for this demonstration, I'm going to deselect everything. And I'm going to select the first 3 modules. The first 3 modules have nothing specific in which to configure. The hash lookup, you can actually download a hash identification set from NIST where it identifies known bad files. We haven't done this in this case, but that's where you would actually go down and you would import a new hash set. The other thing that I will show you, but I'm not going to run on this iteration, is the keyword search. With the keyword search, you can select predefined patterns and you can look for IP addresses, URLs, credit cards, and the like. Or you can actually sit there and run your own predefined keyword searches on lists that you define. So to define that, we would click Global Settings, and it takes us to a new screen where we can define our own lists. For example, you can see that the keyword lists window here is empty, so we need to create a new list. So I'll click on New List, and I'll just call it Lego, if I can spell. And on the other side of the window, in this window, this is where I add the new keywords. So I click the new keywords and I can go Lego and what any other keywords you choose to include, and you click OK. On this instance, I'm not going to run it because it will take a very long time. So I'll click Next at this stage and we'll move on to the processing of the data source. So at this point, it's importing the DD image so it can go through and run the search criteria against the included files within that image. This will take a while and I'll come back to it when it's finished. That's finished running and the disk image has been successfully imported. Once I click the Finish button, you can see that all the ingest modules have finished running. We've got a few of our artifacts that have been pre-populated within the tree. So that covers this video for the basic importation of a disk image, and I'll continue the basics of Autopsy in the next video.